See what you made me do? Shout out to old Jews and old rules. New blacks with new stacks. I already been the king.
Coming to you live from 4 feet away from where I usually sit. It's me for Jay-Z, Magna Carta Holy Grail. Jay-Z is a New York rapper and recently entrepreneur who notably has put out some of the most celebrated rap releases ever, like the Black Album, the original Blueprint, and Reasonable Doubt. And while some people say that Jay-Z is in an artistic decline, I'm not so sure that that's the case, but he has definitely shifted his style since gaining massive mainstream popularity. And although I don't expect Jay-Z to put out another classic album anytime soon, whenever he makes a release, it always has this impression that comes with it that it is going to be a classic, this expectation of him because it is made by the legend Jay-Z. But due to this unrealistic hype that Jay-Z gets, the Blueprint 2, 3 were not so well received by critics and by fans. I don't think that's fair. I actually like Blueprint 3 more than this album. But my point is that Jay-Z sometimes faces unreal expectations before his album even comes out. I saw a quote that said, to be a legendary artist, you have to do something groundbreaking every time you release an album. And Jay-Z did do that on Magna Carta Holy Grail, but it wasn't in the music. It was with his new Samsung deal, and I'm pretty sure this album went platinum before it was even made public. I don't really know that many details about his sponsorship deal, but I remember there was an app that had lyrics for it that released the lyrics of his songs, and I'm pretty sure Samsung bought out 1 million copies of the album. So when I saw this deal, I think my first reaction was that he is doing too much. He has this, he's now a sports agent, Jay-Z's everywhere, so I wasn't really sure how much attention he was going to put towards this music that he was putting out. And I've come to realize that Jay-Z isn't really interested in music anymore. That isn't his primary goal. He's doing all sorts of ownership stuff. Like I said, he's an entrepreneur. The dude just makes money at the end of the day. And he's still doing music, but I don't think he attacks it with the same passion that we saw from him a decade ago. And that's to be expected. But definitely Jay-Z now looks at things from more of a I'm rich standpoint than more of a I want to make good music to prove people wrong standpoint. And you see this new Jay-Z stance on the first song from Holy Grail, where he's talking about a Mike Tyson fight, how he ruined a MC Hammer, 30 mil money. Jay-Z on this album shows no interest in doing anything new with his lyrics. He stays, for the most part, braggadocious. However, apart from Blueprint 3 and Watch the Throne, he does this and executes it in a way that's sloppy and even lazy sometimes. This opener is needlessly dramatic. It's about 2 minutes too long, where it's just winding on, not really developing anything any further. And that god-awful line from Nirvana with both of them singing at the same time, that was so bad. It was the worst thing Jay-Z's ever done. Why did he do it? It sucks! And then to top it off, this song didn't feel like a Jay-Z song. It felt like it was from Justin Timberlake's second part of the 2020 Experience. I think this was the lead single, because Jay-Z is probably on the track for less time than Justin Timberlake is. I hated this opener. It was kind of a mess, to be honest. I did like Justin's vocals though. He's a good singer. I like Justin Timberlake. I don't care what anyone says. I like the style of the song Picasso Baby. It sounds like it belongs in one of those new modern art galleries. Jay-Z, again, lyrically on this song isn't doing it for me. Here's something that I hate when Jay-Z does it. He is always saying he is the new somebody. First of all, he said he was the new Mike Tyson, and then he was the new Michael Jackson. On this song, he's the new Gene Michael. I guess Jay-Z is just like every Michael ever. What else is he has probably said that he's like the new Michelangelo and I just missed it. Jay-Z, we know you're like a lot of Michaels, just please stop saying it. But in a lot of ways, I feel like that is the problem with this album. A lot of recycled brags that we've heard before, and then the rest is Jay-Z telling us crap that we already know, like, I'm rich, I'm married to Beyonce, I'm artistic, even though I used to be from the hood. Like, it's all the same thing over and over and over again. There are a few exceptions, but it's just so repetitive, I can't get over it. On the song Tom Ford, I like the rattling and spacey drums that go with it. The hook is one of the catchiest you'll see all year, and even the lyrics are a little bit better. I mean, he's not trying to say that he's the new somebody on this song. And I like the little bit about the line where he says, I spent all my euros on tuxes and weird clothes. Some self-parody, which is something that's very rare on this album, seeing how sophisticated Jay-Z is. The song, You Know I Got It. Rick Ross rapping on this song is something like, yellow like a pencil, boy. Yellow on my pencil, boy. So I'm like, okay, alright, Rick Ross, fair enough, I see what you did here. You can go on now. But then Jay-Z does the same thing, and Jay-Z stoops down to Rick Ross's level. The legend Jay-Z did not out-rap Rick Ross on a verse where Rick Ross find the same word 5 times, and I think you know what that word is. Now, most artists nowadays usually go for a punchline or something really catchy that people remember, like Trinidad James did the All Gold Everything line. And this was an attempt at one, but it was so forced. Like, All Gold Everything happened naturally, and people are like, yeah, this is pretty fun. But this is so, like, trying to go for that catchphrase punchline thing, and it's so lazily put together. Oh, this was my least favorite song of the year. The song Oceans was a little better. Jay-Z was probably better here lyrically than he was anywhere else on the album, talking about a certain viewpoint of racism. And Frank Ocean on the hook was not the highlight of the song like I expected it to be. You know, Frank Ocean, really known, liked for his smoothness, but instead on this song he's bumbling over a really lengthy refrain. But Jay-Z does make up for it, more than make up for it, with lines like, only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace, welcome to the Magna Opus, the Magna Carta. Following Oceans, I like the song FUTW, where Jay-Z sort of paints his success as an African American as disruptive to the order and structure of the world, and he encourages this revolution, if you will. There's a good line on here that says, sending light out to Compton and the 100 blocks, little bastard boy basking on top. And although a different theme, it continues into Somewhere in America, where he says, new money, they looking down on me. And the Miley Cyrus line, as much as I dislike this album, I think the Miley Cyrus line is my favorite of the entire year. It has so many interpretations, but the way I like to see it is how Jay-Z and rap culture in general have influenced white people. And the perfect example to use is Miley Cyrus, this Disney country, straight up white girl, daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus, the whitest person you can think of. And now in 2013 you see her on the We Can't Stop music video twerking and going up on stage with Juicy J. Parts like the Cain and Abel line on Crown and the line on Heaven that says, live among the serpents, turn arenas into churches, are amongst the more quality lyrics on the album. So this wasn't a complete waste of time. For 4 or 5 tracks consecutively, I did like Jay-Z's flow. And although I enjoyed the two little interludes off of this album, I wasn't big on the track that is sandwiched between them, On the Run, where Jay-Z paints himself and Beyonce as these two Bonnie and Clyde figures. But the song really doesn't fit in stylistically with the rest of the album. I could have seen this on something he made a decade ago, but everything about it is just outdated and a little bit corny. Whereas the other sounds off of Holy Grail are crisp and refreshing, this song just sounds really bland and stale, and it's filled with Beyonce. Too much Beyonce again, sort of like the opener with Justin Timberlake, where Jay-Z gets outstaged on his own track. BBC, La Familia, and Open Letter just feel like a bunch of filler from which nothing jumps out at me. I did like that there was a Nas verse, but he wasn't exactly reinventing the wheel on his part. The song Jay-Z Blue just somehow felt really synthetic, considering it was a song made about his daughter. I mean, sure, he makes these over-the-top statements about his feelings, but they're not really that tangible when they are so over-the-top. Not only was sampling the movie Mommy Dearest distasteful, but to me, I doubt that's how Jay-Z actually feels to that extreme. And on top of that, I don't know why he needed help in describing how he feels about his own daughter. And with how surprisingly unemotional Jay-Z Blue was, it left me with one song I liked on the backside of this release, and it was Nickels and Dimes. In this song, Jay-Z is responding to those people who say that he's greedy despite his massive wealth, and both in the lyrics and in the title, Nickels and Dimes, Jay-Z implies that this argument is just a petty one to have overall. But this song didn't do enough to keep me from disliking the back half of this. The first 4 tracks of this I disliked too. From my point of view, this album had a Yeezus quality to it, where the artist didn't really care about the product they were putting out. But this is lacking the in-your-face self-parody that Yeezus had. The ability to say, I really don't care at the moment. Which is cool if you're Jay-Z, but don't put out any music and expect me to care. It seems like he made this release just so he could do that Samsung deal and change the way that album sales are viewed, or whatever he changed. For this album to be named Magna Carta Holy Grail is a joke, because those are two extremely important historical objects, and there is nothing important about this album. If you're interested in listening to Jay-Z lazily and poorly craft lines about his wealth and class, about his sophistication, with a few quality, intelligent lines, and one very, very good line strewn in, for over an hour, then this is the album for you. I've made it clear by now I'm not a fan. I'm feeling a 4 out of 10 on Magna Carta Holy Grail. This is my opinion. If you don't like it, too bad, because you know I got it. I rock Tom Ford, and I'm the new Picasso. That's all for now. Until later.